The best way to get investors to stop focusing on something is to stop telling them at all. Netflix said Thursday it will no longer report quarterly membership numbers and average revenue per membership starting in the first quarter of 2025. This is a significant change for the company and for the so-called streaming wars, which have largely been defined by a race for customers. Netflix wants investors to judge the company by the same metrics executives view as our best proxy for customer satisfaction, the company said in its quarterly shareholder letter. Namely, revenue, operating margin, free cash flow, and the amount of time spent on Netflix. It's also a signal Netflix's second wave of subscriber growth may be ending. The company announced it added 9.3 million subscribers in its first quarter as its global password-sharing crackdown and introduction of a less expensive advertising tier took hold. The ad tier costs $6.99 per month in the U.S., as opposed to its $15.49 standard plan. The company said subscriber growth in the second quarter will be lower than in the first quarter due to seasonality. That may be the start of a longer period of slowing subscriber additions, as most freeloading password sharers are now paying customers. ARM, which Netflix defines as streaming revenue divided by the average number of streaming paid memberships divided by the number of months in the period, rose just 1% year-over-year in the quarter. Netflix shares fell 4% in after-hours trading, in part because of a weaker full-year revenue growth outlook than some analysts estimated. Netflix forecast revenue growth of 16% in the second quarter but just 13% to 15% for the full year. Investors typically don't like less transparency. It's particularly notable Netflix is cutting back on granular membership information, which the company used to pride itself on, including by offering regional breakdowns that were more specific than all of its competitors. Apple and Amazon have never offered quarterly subscriber information for its streaming services. Still, forcing Wall Street to focus on revenue and profit, rather than user growth, is also evidence of Netflix's maturity as a company. For more than a decade, Netflix has been viewed as a disruptor to legacy media. Now, about 5 years into the streaming wars, Netflix is the dominant incumbent. In our early days, when we had little revenue or profit, membership growth was a strong indicator of our future potential, Netflix said in its shareholder letter. But now we're generating very substantial profit and free cash flow, FCF. We are also developing new revenue streams like advertising and our extra member feature, so memberships are just one component of our growth. In addition, as we've evolved our pricing and plans from a single to multiple tiers with different price points depending on the country, each incremental paid membership has a very different business impact, the company added.